Toastmasters Techno, we're creating this show as a flagship show. People want to come learn podcasting. It's a club you're already been a part of. Maybe you come back and I'm technically I don't know, like we're trying to like bring it back to life. And Manny Garcia, like he came to us and like you can be like one of the maybe founding members too. I don't know how that exactly works, but come back to.
Welcome to another episode of D50 After Dark, where we interview the movers and shakers of District 50 Toastmasters. Today, we have a very fun interview in store. We will be doing the first of what will be several episodes where we get to know the team behind D50 After Dark. I'll be interviewing Tommy Kenyon, the executive producer of D50 After Dark. But first, a word from our sponsors. Our first sponsor today is Habitat Commons. Habitat Commons is a beautiful co-working space providing an invigorating work environment to creatives and other professionals. It is conveniently located near Highway 75 and the President George Bush Tollway in Plano, Texas. To learn more, visit habitatcommons.com. We're also brought to you by Moon Vision Productions. Moon Vision Productions is a full-service photography and video production company that services small businesses and individuals taking your content to the next level. Follow them on Instagram at moonvision_productions. Now, let's meet our guest today, Tommy Kenyon. Welcome to the show, Tommy.
Being behind the mic, glad there's a different spot for me to be behind the mic.
Yeah, you're no
trolls.
You're no stranger to the show, but it's our first time interviewing you directly. So Tommy, you started the show D50 After Dark. Tell us how it got started.
The first vision of it was me posting on the Facebook group, calling it D50 After Dark, helping out with teaching people about tech stuff, and it was very. My vision for it was it to be very tech oriented, helping people with different aspects, how to log into Zoom or something like that, or do stuff maybe outside of Zoom, and I'd go live inside the district Facebook group or go live somewhere else, and I was calling it D50 After Dark, and our current program quality director took that and ran with it and said, I really like that concept of D50 After Dark. Maybe we can turn that into a podcast that's not live. We record the tape, and then we release it after dark on say like a second week of the month.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. I imagine some of our listeners haven't connected the dots of why it's called After Dark, and I think you just addressed that. It's because we post it late in the evening when we do. Tuesday, the second Tuesday of the month?
I'm a bit of, I like to live on the side of both end, but I'm a night person, so after dark, I do a lot of stuff at night after dark.
That makes sense. Now, you are the executive producer of the show. So what does an executive producer do?
Maybe not so much executive producer. I would definitely consider myself a producer. Producer keeps contact with guests, making sure people show up for the guests and everything. And they're the overall like boss of the show.
Yeah, you're the boss. El Jefe. Now, you also personally do a lot of the audio and video editing for the show, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And that is, what do you do for your day job? You are a video editor?
Video editing, digital video, publishing, capture sports highlights, and post them up on web, social media.
How long have you been doing that?
Got into that in June of 2010 down in the Woodlands, Texas, when all the regions were in the hub in the Woodlands area.
So almost 14 years.
Yeah.
Were you in Toastmasters all the way back then, or how long have you been in Toastmasters?
That's how I actually first heard about Toastmasters. My boss, when I was there, she was like, kind of like, I don't know what she does like coaching stuff and inspirational coaching stuff. And she's still actually with us today in some aspect producing content. She introduced me to a way you can go to club meetings, you can get ideas, and that's how I heard about Toastmasters. And then I finally, after trying to interview for jobs and everything, positions later on, I heard about it in 2011, but I didn't actually join a club until 2013 in Houston.
Yeah. Now, you're currently visionary communications level 4, strategic relationships level 4, persuasive influence level 3, and last year you were an area director, so you've done your district service. So you are getting very close to being a distinguished Toastmaster.
Very close, and this podcast is actually my, what do you call it,
High performance leadership project?
high performance leadership project, which I think there's a speech coming up on that pretty soon too.
Very cool.
Teamwork, or how things are going, how I'm reacting and all that, and reflecting on it. So this is my high performance leadership project.
Now, you mentioned the original vision for this show was to provide technical advice for Toastmasters. I think that ties into your home club is Tech Talk Toastmasters. Is that correct?
If we can call it, my second home club is Toastmasters Techno.
Toastmasters Techno.
My initial home club here in the Dallas District 50 area is Verbal Expressions.
Verbal Expressions. Yeah. And so the Techno, what was the name of that club again? Techno?
Toastmasters Techno.
So what's
It used to be another club. People may have heard of it. Maybe a member, Leading Edge Toastmasters.
Leading Edge. I was one of the founding members of Leading Edge Toastmasters. I didn't know they'd turned into.
So it's Leading Edge turned into Toastmasters Techno.
Wow. Oh, I learned something today. Very cool. Well, getting back to D50 After Dark, tell me, what's your favorite part about producing this show?
People always ask me, like, and things come up when, like, what do you dislike? People, there's something you always dislike about podcasting, but when that question's posed to me all the time, I can't think of one single thing I do not like about podcast.
I see.
Everything. Even just transparency today, like when things don't go according to like the director of the plan, the idea of the Toastmasters pivot, which kind of doing right now today, a little transparency, pivoting, don't want to make too much waste of our time, so we're doing something else and pivoting, always finding a way. And so I still, I might have sounded a little maybe not upset, but I quickly got over that, and the way of the pivot, Toastmasters pivot.
Yeah, the way I see it is I often remind myself, I'm doing this because I am learning even more than I already know about communication skills, leadership skills, and a big part of that is things are going to go wrong, and what do we do when they go wrong? How do we turn lemons into lemonade? And that's what we're doing today. We had someone else scheduled. It didn't work out, so now we're interviewing you, and I love it. So
might just add a little. We had take a book from Alyssa's Table Topics off the cuff. This is not planned interview at all. So off the cuff, non-planned interview.
Yeah. So I want to ask you. We're in a sense in the earlier phases of this podcast. We've been going for less than a year, and how do you see the next year of D50 After Dark going?
We're taking this as a kind of a flagship partner. There goes our lights again. I'm wondering why our lights.
Pivot.
Things go wrong. Pivot, like lights go out, come back on. That things happen, they come back on. Toastmasters Techno, we're creating this show as a flagship show. People want to come learn podcasting. It's a club you're already been a part of. Maybe you come back and I'm technically, I don't know, like we're trying to like bring it back to life. And Manny Garcia, like he came to us and like, you can be like one of the maybe founding members too. I don't know how that exactly works, but come back to formerly Leading Edge and learn all about podcasting and other stuff. And we want this to be the flagship project of the Toastmasters Club.
So am I hearing that you're hoping that our district will create more podcasts in addition to this one, or is that what you're saying, or?
Maybe this year it's more of a connection with the district.
Yeah.
But maybe the plans to keep it going to we can still call it D50 After Dark. It's still a part of D50 District 50.
Yeah.
And it could be the flagship for the technical club now.
Okay, I see. So it sounds like you're saying you're hoping more people in your club, Tech Talk or Techno, and around the district.
Tech Talk is actually my personal podcast. Sweet Tea Tech Talk with Sweet Tea.
Oh, I see. So you're involved in other podcasts.
That's my personal. That if you go away from Toastmasters,
Yeah.
so I technically do too.
Okay, I see. Well, Tommy, is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know about the show or about your part in the show?
I think if anyone has podcast aspirations, come join our club, and we're looking to build on membership, Toastmasters Techno, and learn about not just podcasting, but like podcast can be video aspect, can be audio, can be the whole 9 yards. Learn anything with that. I'm an audio guy, audio geek. I like to refer to myself as, but I'm big on productions and been doing it for about 14 years, not counting college when I was just learning.
Yeah, that's a great value proposition for a Toastmasters club, because podcasting is a really hot industry right now. It's been growing astronomically for 10 or more years, and it continues to become more and more important part of our culture, our news media, everything. And your club is positioned to provide people hands-on experience with creating podcasts, whether it be through joining the team for D50 After Dark or creating other podcasts and being able to bounce ideas off the other people in your club.
For sure.
Okay, Tommy, as you know, we always like to end on a call to action. First, what would you like to plug? How can people get information about what you're up to?
They can find me at the club Toastmasters Techno, formerly known as Leading Edge. For anyone who knows who that, that's where you can find me. We can put I can have that stuff put on the screen.
So you have a website.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to this website to learn more about Toastmasters Techno, and you have a call to action for us.
I do. Come to learn at Toastmasters Techno, and you can see it as the playground. I like to call Toastmasters as my playground to try new things. And that's what Toastmasters Techno can be for any member who joins.
I love that metaphor, right? A playground, it's a place of imagination. It's a place of trying new things. It's a place of no fear. And I see Toastmasters in that way too. So call to action is come play.
Come play, yes.
Well, Tommy, I have really enjoyed having this conversation with you today and learning a little bit more about the leadership behind our podcast. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us today. And stay tuned soon. We will have another episode of D50 After Dark.